Good afternoon, my dear friends. Here is a very beautiful and profound information. And to all of you, thanks to Sir Sri Kanak Sinhaji. When I sent my letter expressing my willingness that I will not be able to continue, he has immediately sent me a video by Mahatriya Ra, whose pictures you are seeing just behind me. He is a spiritual lead master, but also married, and he has got 2 children. And our sir was insisting that I should go through this video, not only go through, but also report back to him after complete my watching the video. It is in all 1 hour 42 minutes, and it took 2.5 hours for me to just go through one round, for the simple reason that it was so interesting, being spiritual in its nature. But more than that, the gentleman, the leader, Mahatriya Ra, was speaking from his day-to-day experiences, number one. And number two, he was extensively quoting the researched material. So both were showing me that they are authentic. And one of the sentences which made me further get grooved into this video was, I really tell people the best lesson in life is not learned by books. It is learned by studying a fellow human being. Hope you understand the depth of this statement. So I have gone through this video. I reported back to Sir Sri Kanak Sinhaji, and I told him, I immensely thanked him for sending me this. And I told him one thing spontaneously. I don't know what made me spontaneously, that I am converting this into a text file. Would you be interested? He said, please do that and send it on to me. I took interest more because the whole content speaks in such a lucid language with day-to-day experiences of a human being plus the researched material, which with all this, it was only trying to pointing out that all that is required for one to be successful, what are all is required as a principle. So I took the arduous task of translating the whole 1 hour 42 minutes video into text. It runs into 25 solid pages. I have already sent to Sir, and on receiving it, he immediately said that pass it on to our other students and also tell them your experience. That is how I am in front of you. My experience is very, very profound. I want all of you, each one of you, to watch that video. That would be better rather than my explaining, because it is very difficult, very, very difficult for in 1 hour 42 minutes video to be to tell you the gist of that. However, I am making a sincere attempt. The gist is very simple. He speaks of just 3 of his personal experience. One at the age of 19, when he has just joined his first appointment ever, where naturally for his age, he became friendly with a opposite sex girl, and that was objected to by his boss, and his boss calls him to his chamber and only tells him one thing, like this: you are a teacher. Teacher necessarily has to exhibit certain character. So you have the choice either to subordinate your likes and dislikes to the purpose of your life, or alternatively, you have to subordinate the purpose of life to your likes and dislikes. I'm just repeating because it is important. He says very simply, his boss at that age says very simply, you are a teacher, you have to have certain character, you have the choice either to subordinate your likes and dislikes to the purpose of your life, or alternatively, you have to subordinate the purpose of life to your likes and dislikes. If you opt for the first, you would be a 19-year-old and all the other 19-year-olds will look up for you for guidance. Very profound. Very, very profound. I am sure you guys are able to understand the depth of its profoundness. Then he goes on and he leaves that job for a different reason, not for this particular reason, and joins another organization. And there his new boss gives him two very valuable lessons of leadership by being a model. The first one, anybody who goes to him, he would just say that there is a way and the way is on the way. The second one he says is, let problems come from everywhere, solutions will come from me. These two statements are really very, very profound again, because all of us are usually not be able to strain ourselves to find answers or to become a source of problem solution center. We always will be yet another source of problem creators rather than problem solution providers. So he says that this statement from his second boss has made a profound impact. Then he goes on further and gives a very valid researched document wherein a research was undertaken selecting among others 500 very, very successful people like Henry Ford, Rockefeller, Picasso, Leonardo, Vinci, Martin Luther King, Mahatma Gandhi, Jesus Christ, Prophet Muhammad, and a sports personality, Pele. So the research people have taken these people's examples and found out what, among other things, were common in them such that they became very successful in their life. And as expected, finally, he lists down, the research lists down 7 valid principles. They are, number 1, all the people whom I referred to who were subjected to the research had 7 things in common. Number 1, passion for excellence. Passion for excellence. Anything and everything they did or they have done were of an excellent category. He gives the example of Chinmaya Mission chief. He is no more now. I understand, I never knew that. I understand, even to throw the waste paper into waste paper basket, I understand Chinmayaji used to fold it very neatly and throw it. No, perhaps on the face of it, it may not make much impression, but I very much want all of you to go through this entire video at your leisure so that you will understand its depth in its totality. The second principle is the ability to develop a team. Very beautifully explains with research this thing as to the need for a team. See, this is what more or less we are just hearing and seeing with Kanak Sinhaji. Perhaps it is his team which is giving me a forefront task of successfully achieving whatever he is desiring to achieve. We all should also be developing a team for sure. while handling the team, perhaps he makes a very, very powerful point. That is yet another attraction for me to go through this video time and again. He says, in an organization, if you retire after 30, 35 years of service, having done wonderful job for the organization, within a matter of 1 week, your chair will be occupied. You will be replaced by another person. Don't forget, the same thing cannot happen in a family. You cannot be replaced by your wife. You cannot be replaced by your son. You cannot be replaced by your father, whatever is the role you play. He says, go home peacefully as with your respective roles, forgetting your designation at the workplace itself. What he says in a nutshell is, don't go home and behave like a vice president. Don't go home and behave like a director of finance. Go home as a husband, as a father, as a child. Very beautiful. And the third thing is very important for all of us, mastery in communication. Very beautifully, he makes a difference between just mere talking and communicating. Communicating is empowering. That is what all these successful people had, so that people just followed them because of their ability to communicate what is in them and also to empower the people. He highlights the importance of communication. In fact, he quotes the example of Sachin Tendulkar and also that Manmohan Singh as people who did not succeed just because they did not have the communication. They did not have the communication ability. The fourth, high energy levels. Very beautifully explains here. All these people whom I have just quoted are invariably successful people, will invariably have high energy for one simple reason. They don't waste their emotions on things which are not required. And also, they get up early, go to bed early, they take the energy from sunrise and sunset and things like that. He explains. I want you to go through that entire video to understand the details of this. And 5, value-based decision making. Very beautifully, he explains again with very valid examples. Kindly go through. 6, the methodology. He says beautiful. All of us should invariably have our own methodologies for us to be successful. It is not enough if you just become merely intelligent enough. You have to give a direction to your intelligence through a particular methodology. He quotes the example of Rajnikant, his style as a methodology. He quotes the example of Jayalalitha as somebody who knew that as long as she could just keep all her chelas under the impression that they are not capable of occupying this chief minister's chair, she is safe. That is her methodology. Burger making is a methodology. He says, he advises all of us to develop your own unique methodology if you want to be successful. Lastly, the 7th point is anchor of faith. Have faith in something. Whether it is God, whether it is your principle, whether it is your X, Y, Z, have faith. He says very beautifully, among all, he quotes the example of Reliance chief. I understand when somebody asked him the question, a guy whose worth today is 1,43,000 crores, he seems to have said that, what is the secret of your success? For Ambani, Mukesh Ambani. And he seems to have said that it is my mother's, as long as I have my mother's blessing, I will succeed. He did not say that because of his technological innovation, because of his financial IQ and things like that, he became successful. Friends, I am just concluding here. I very much want all of you to go through this video, digest. There is a definite message for each of us in this video and be successful. Thanks a lot for this opportunity. I take again, time and again, I have thanked sir. I am again thanking in front of all of you for this opportunity for me.